Hey y'all, Heather here, and I wanted to use this week's Authentic Sexual You video to expand on a concept that I often talk about in my workshops, when I'm speaking in person, for groups or conferences, anything like that. And that is the concept of being gentle with ourselves without being generous. And I get that that's kind of a nuanced concept that might not make sense if you're not there to hear the stuff that goes along with it. So let me take a moment to expand today, okay? So when I talk about being gentle with yourself, what I'm talking about is showing yourself kindness and showing yourself compassion. See, this actually is hard work. Self-exploration, self-discovery, going into the swampy places and the sad places and the complicated places of yourself and your desire, going into your insecurities, sitting in vulnerability. This is all hard stuff, right? And just when you go to the gym and have a really hard workout one day, your muscles feel it the next. So when you're exercising your bravery, when you're exercising your courage, when you're exercising your vulnerability, any of those things, they're going to have lingering effects, right? And I get that it's not actually complicated to walk up to someone and say, hey, my name's Joe. I like you and I hope you like me too and I'd like to go out with you sometime. But that can be emotionally taxing, right? Because you have to put yourself out there. You have to risk rejection. That can be mentally taxing, especially if you're a person who deals with anxiety in your life. The concept of going up to someone isn't that simple when you're dealing with a lot of anxiety. There's so much that goes into that moment. So that's the first part of being gentle with ourselves. The next part is actually balancing how far we push ourselves. I do think it's super important to push ourselves out of our comfort zone because that's how we create change, right? We do something different. But balance how much you push yourself. I'm never going to ask you to to go out every single night and ask people out on 20 dates when the concept of asking one person out on a date is just terrifying to you. Or I'm not going to ask you to have a conversation with someone about a fetish or a kink when you feel a lot of shame. But I might ask you to write a journal entry about it or have a conversation with yourself about it. So I'll ask for a little push, but not a big push. And I think we can do that with ourselves too. Balance how much we're pushing ourselves. And, occasionally give ourselves a break from that push, knowing that we will push at other times. And finally, the third part of being gentle with ourselves is making it really okay to admit our feelings and really okay to actually acknowledge where we're at with ourselves without doing anything about it. So if we're feeling scared or jealous or angry or upset or confused or even conflicted, we're feeling really good about one part of our lives and really mourning another part of our lives, I think those feelings are super legitimate. And when we're being gentle with ourselves, it's important to recognize the feelings, what's going on for us, and just give ourselves space to feel that. But generous is actually a different word than gentle, okay? Generous speaks to giving more of something than is necessary or expected. And when other people are generous with us, it's a beautiful thing. And I'm not knocking that in any way, shape, or form, okay? It's great when people are generous with us because that helps the world move around. But when we're overly generous with ourselves, what that actually does is it keeps us comfortable. It keeps us in the status quo. It doesn't motivate change in our lives. It doesn't motivate us to push ourselves. Being generous with ourselves says, no, 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 it's okay. You're having a rough week. You haven't lost that 20 pounds yet. Everyone's really mean. Everyone's really scary. You don't have to put yourself out there. You've had a rough week. And when we're being gentle with ourselves, it's okay to say that sometimes. But when we're being generous with ourselves, we tend to do that more than is necessary. So generosity with ourselves doesn't promote change. It doesn't promote change in ourselves. It doesn't promote change in our world. It doesn't promote change in our society. And I don't think that's actually helping us at this point. So that's what I mean when I say be gentle with yourself without being generous. And I would love to hear how you put that into practice in your own life. You can hit me up in the comments below, or you can always email me, heather@AuthenticSexualYou.com, and I'll talk to you next week.